Thursday the 20th of October and welcome to From the South. There was strong solidarity in Argentina as tens of thousands of women marched together in unison, demanding justice over the rape and murder of Lucia Perez, a 16-year-old girl. The high school student died on October 8th after drug dealers allegedly raped her. The demonstration made history as Argentina's first women's national strike. A collective called Ni Una Menos has spearheaded the movement against gender violence, with marches also organised in dozens of other towns in Argentina and internationally. The Ecuadorian government has partially restricted internet access to Julian Assange because his company WikiLeaks decided to publish documents impacting the US election campaign. In a statement, the government said it, quote, respects the principle of non-intervention in other countries' affairs. It does not meddle in election processes underway, nor does it support any candidate specially. Brazil's central bank cut its key interest rate for the first time in more than 3 years on Wednesday. The bank lowered the benchmark Selic rate by 0.25 points to 14%, still one of the world's highest. It cited a dip in inflation and forecast that a long recession, Brazil's worst in a century, is nearing its end. The rate had been in a holding pattern since the last in a series of hikes in July 2015, as the bank struggled to stamp down on double-digit inflation amid the implosion of an economy that was booming just 6 years ago. Mexicans vented on social media after US Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump repeated his call for tougher security at the Mexican border, referring to Mexicans as bad hombres. The term became one of the most discussed topics of the night on US social media and was tweeted about 134,000 times during and immediately after the debate. Trump has aroused criticism for inflammatory comments about Mexican illegal immigrants during his presidential bid. During a speech to kick off his campaign in June 2015, Trump accused Mexico of exporting rapists and other criminals to the United States. Mexican clown performers have condemned hysteria stemming from a recent spate of creepy clown sightings in the US, Canada, Europe, and lately Mexico. Reports of menacing individuals dressed as clowns or wearing clown masks have begun surfacing in late August, confusing police and unnerving parents across the United States. Clowns threatening residents have also been spotted in Mexican cities. Hundreds marched through Mexico City to mark the 21st Annual International Clown Convention, aimed at honing their craft and supporting the industry.
The international merger of the multinational beer companies SAB Miller and AB InBev will create a new company that will control over 30% of the global market. In Peru, the new beer monopoly will control 99% of the market. The series of mergers that have led to this situation have taught industry workers that they are one of the groups that will be seriously affected by the union.
In these processes, we the workers have suffered mutilations. We've been fired. Each new company brings a new policy of cost reduction, and they always see those reductions in terms of labor costs. They want to regain their investments as soon as possible.
Peru is one of only 3 countries that do not have any laws regulating the monopolization of markets, despite clear consensus of how detrimental monopolies are to society. The new company will be able to impose costs on suppliers as well as prices to consumers, and it will have no incentive to improve quality or to innovate. However, the most harmful effect of monopolies could be their political impact.
If we allow the creation of monopolies, we are weakening democracy since the large economic groups will finance political parties. They will impose their decisions on the legislative process, and that is a threat we cannot allow. Therefore, if we want to defend democracy, we have to avoid the concentration of economic power.
There are very close relations between the new beer company and those leading the country. Peruvian President Pedro Pablo Kuczynski, Prime Minister Fernando Zavala, and Employment Minister Alfonso Grados are all former high executives of SAB Miller, where they had a history of seeking to increase profits at the expense of employees. Rael Mora, TeleSur's, Peru.
Russia has told the United Nations it will stop bombing eastern Aleppo for 11 hours a day for 4 days. According to the United Nations, that is not enough to trigger a wider ceasefire deal under which militants would leave the Syrian war zone. EU leaders met earlier today to discuss sanctions on Russia. Germany and France have been calling on the nation to stop bombing Aleppo. The 28 leaders will also discuss Brexit as well as the EU-Canada trade agreement. Civilians are fleeing Mosul and arriving at the UNHCR's Debaga refugee camp in Iraq. The Iraqi army and Kurdish Peshmerga fighters are intensifying their operation to retake Mosul from the Islamic State group. According to the manager of the Debaga camp, 600 to 700 people arrive daily. Earlier today, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump underscored his refusal to commit to accepting the results of the presidential elections. His comments made during Wednesday's televised presidential debate have alarmed both Democrats and Republicans. Trump said he accepts the results if he wins. Police in Pretoria used tear gas and stun grenades to disperse hundreds of students gathered outside South African President Jacob Zuma's offices. The students were protesting the high cost of university education. It's become the latest protest to turn violent. Aid workers delivered relief goods after a powerful typhoon ripped through the northern Philippines, damaging houses and toppling power lines. The typhoon has forced thousands of villagers to leave their homes. At least 5,000 additional relief packs were delivered. Mexican cartoonist Arturo Kempsch has called upon his Latin American colleagues to contribute to a book of caricatures of White House hopeful Donald Trump. The collaboration will eventually lead to the Trump A Wall of Caricatures exhibition, which will be presented in various countries, including the US, before the presidential election on November 8th. More on these and other stories on our website telesurtv.net/English.